So this is what the box of the Redmi 9 Power looks like. As usual, you have all the key specifications mentioned at the back. It says it has a 48 megapixel AI quad camera setup, a 6000 mAh battery. It gets a 6.53-inch Full HD Plus dot notch display, and there's Corning Gorilla Glass for protection as well. And this is Corning Gorilla Glass 3. In terms of the processing power, there's the Qualcomm Snapdragon 662. You get an 8 megapixel selfie camera, an IR blaster, and there's dual VoLTE support. I've got the 4GB RAM 64GB variant here with me, and it's made in India. So let's go ahead, unbox this device and take our first look at the Redmi 9 Power. First thing to come out of the box is the transparent case along with some documentation, and there's a SIM eject tool as well. Keep that aside. This is the Redmi 9 Power. Power it on and see if it has some charge. Then let's check out the charger. Here's the charging cable. It's a Type-C port. Not surprised. And here you have a 22.5 watt charger that's bundled in the box. Now the thing is that this phone supports 18 watt charging only, but you do get a 22.5 watt charger. I'm going to keep the charger and the cable aside and show you the smartphone. As you can see, it is running MIUI 12. Now this is running on top of Android 10. Now, like the box suggested, this is a 6.53-inch Full HD Plus display with a tiny dewdrop notch at the top that houses an 8 megapixel selfie camera. At the back, as you can see, it's got a quad camera setup here. So it has a 48 megapixel primary camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. We've got a 2 megapixel macro camera and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. I've got big Redmi branding at the back, and the back is completely textured, which means that it should be able to resist your fingerprints. So while I'm setting it up, I'll talk about the way it's designed as well. As you can see, the power and the volume buttons are on the right side of the device, and the fingerprint scanner is embedded in the power button itself. The power button is reachable easily, and the volume buttons are reachable easily as well. On the left, you have the SIM tray slot. Now at the top, you've got a 3.5mm headphone jack. This is the IR blaster, and this looks like a secondary speaker. At the bottom, you've got the primary speaker, the USB Type-C port, and the primary microphone. Now the phone has dual stereo speakers. Set it up, and while it's setting up, let me talk about the processor that's powering it. So you'd get a Qualcomm Snapdragon 662 SoC. You get one RAM option, that is 4GB of RAM, and there's two storage options. So you do have the option to choose between 64GB of internal storage and 128GB of internal storage. It's very easy to scan your finger, as you can see. It's where your thumb wouldn't rest naturally while you are holding the device. Now, while you are setting the device up, there is an option for personalized ads. You can switch that off. Diagnostic data, switch it off. I don't like to send all of these information. Glance for me. Now this is the wallpaper that you see on the lock screen. Now by default it is enabled, so you will get different wallpapers, a wallpaper carousel rather, on the lock screen. So I don't like it. I would want to switch that off. So this is something that you will need to pay attention while you're setting up the device. You do have the option to select the kind of launcher that you want. I am going to go with the classic. If you want an app drawer, you can go for that as well. You have two theme options here between classic and limitless. Select classic. Well, again, get apps is there on this smartphone, and it is recommending a couple of apps to install. I don't want these apps installed on the device, so I am going to skip this step. As you can see, you've got a promotional notification even before setting up the device. So, well, So as you can see, the device is now set up. I've gotten a get apps notification again on the device, and this is the first look. We've just set up the device, and well, you do have a couple of pre-installed apps. You've got Awesome Rummy, Moj, Dream 11, Netflix that comes pre-installed, a couple of games here that come pre-installed as well. There's a few more apps: Amazon Shopping, Facebook, WPS Office, LinkedIn that comes in pre-installed. And in terms of notifications, well, you do have notifications from Moj and Dream 11 already. So I'm not a big fan of having notifications from these spammy apps right when the device is set up. Let's quickly take a look at the build version on the device. As you can see, you've got MIUI 12.0.2 running on the device, and it is running on top of Android 10 here.